Welcome back to this special Vanderbilt Cup edition of Cablevision's Neighborhood Journal. So before the break, we saw that Vanderbilt had to deal with a little bit of a PR nightmare as the death of a spectator seriously jeopardized the future of his race. So how was he going to remedy the situation? Put up some roadblocks, maybe issue a warning? Not quite. When you're an ambitious and determined millionaire like Vanderbilt, you do something a little more drastic.
By all accounts, the 1906 Vanderbilt Cup was the closest, most exciting race ever held. However, the death of a spectator on the course jeopardizes the future of the race. William Vanderbilt quickly convenes with race officials at the Garden City Hotel to discuss the situation. Historian Al Veloci tells what happened next.
The crowd conservatively exceeded 250,000 people, and the drivers, mostly international drivers, were complaining about safety conditions. And they knew, even before the race was over, that there was no way they're going to maintain races on the public roads. It was determined then to find a better venue. The races were also successfully, that they decided to get a private venue, and that's what they announced to the newspapers over the next few days.
That venue was the Long Island Motor Parkway, the first road built exclusively for automobiles. Would Vanderbilt face the same obstacles building his road as he did getting his race off the ground?
Not really. He had the backing of a lot of wealthy New Yorkers who were also automobile enthusiasts, so they had the wherewithal, the finances to build a public road.
The Vanderbilt Cup Races had a lot of innovations, and the same can be said with the Long Island Motor Parkway and its construction.
Absolutely right. Vanderbilt had done a lot of racing as a young man in Europe, and he just loved road racing, and he incorporated some of the ideas into the track that he ultimately built, which included the first curved embankments on a public road. They built bridges, crossing some roads over, some roads under. Ultimately, they built close to 65 bridges.
And this just wasn't a matter of just flattening the land, they incorporated innovations into the surface as well.
Yes, they were the first to incorporate reinforced concrete into a roadbed, the first with guardrails. As early as 1908, he had the idea of planting a line down the middle to keep the cars on their own side of the road.
After 30 years of service, the Motor Parkway closed in April 1938, overwhelmed by two outside influences.
One was the coming of the free parkway system introduced by Robert Moses. The roads were not only more modern, they were wider, less curves, better condition, and they were free. And what compounded the problem was the Depression.
Are there any remnants of the Motor Parkway today?
Yes, and when the parkway closed in 1938, the 45-mile right-of-way was turned over to three counties in which it ran: Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk. Now, out of the 20 miles or so that were in Suffolk County, 13 miles still exist today. It's Highway 67 today. And if you're on the Long Island Expressway, as you approach exit 55, overhead there's a sign, Motor Parkway. And that's still part of the original Motor Parkway.
So this segment ends on a bit of a sad note because, as we just saw, the Motor Parkway kind of became defunct over the years and not much of it is used anymore. However, there still may be a happy ending for these historic pieces of road.
The residents of Nassau County passed an Environmental Bond Act, and one of the projects that was selected was the Long Island Motor Parkway. $450,000 was dedicated for the resurrection of a non-motorized biking and hiking trail through Nassau County. It gives people a chance to connect with history. It would give people a tremendous opportunity for recreation and to recognize the historical significance of the Motor Parkway.
Schneider says that Nassau County is working on a website that will be up and running early next year, which will allow you to find out everything you want and need to know about the latest developments on the Motor Parkway. Take a look at what local officials are saying about the current development of the Motor Parkway.
I think it would be a wonderful way to, number one, preserve a piece of history, and also be able to preserve some green space and promote people to hike, to bike, to use the outdoors, and to really get a chance to see parts of history.